So, one of the big storylines in the preseason has been slashing penalties. And I'm wearing my Capitals jersey because apparently it's affecting Mr. Ovechkin more than some of the others. And it's going to be interesting to see who gets affected. I remember when the NHL cracked down on holding and slashing penalties, it affected Darian Hatcher, Mike Rathje, guys like this. Solid defensive defensemen that suddenly couldn't hold and hook anymore. So their effectiveness dropped dramatically, and suddenly their lack of foot speed showed up. And I mentioned that the guys who are lacking in the foot speed department are probably the ones hooking, slashing, holding now. Alex Ovechkin's had 5 slashing penalties in 3 games. He had 2 in the last game. Barry Trotz has called him out on it publicly and said it's unacceptable. This is bad. And it's bad because we've known for years that Ovechkin is not exactly Patrice Bergeron defensively. He's an excellent offensive guy. He is an explosive guy up front. Probably the best goal scorer I've ever seen in my lifetime. And maybe one of the top 5 goal scorers of all time, if you look at just pure goal scorers. But defensively, he's been suspect. And of course, in their elimination game against Pittsburgh, he was kind of singled out for his play. A couple of defensive lapses. Holtby didn't exactly acquit himself either. Now, if Ovechkin has to change his style, and Ovechkin was quoted as saying that he asked the referee, like, I can't even hit the guy, and the referee answered, no, you can't. Basically, he's saying, what, I can't even slash anymore? No, that's what they're calling Ovie. You can't. So, it's one of those, and I'm going to borrow a phrase, adapt or die. There's going to be a period here where certain players are going to have a really hard time adapting, and we're going to be surprised by some of the guys who have a hard time adapting. If you're watching a game and the same guy takes a slashing penalty twice, he's having a hard time. He's not getting the zero tolerance. And it's going to be hard to watch. It's going to be hard to watch when a guy like Ovechkin, and there's going to be others, Ovechkin's just the first, when guys who've been at that level, been like top players in the league, are suddenly, in the penalty box every other minute, and then they're starting to get benched by their coach because they're not getting it. There's going to be a shakeout. Things are going to change if the NHL sticks to it. My greatest fear of this is that we're going to have all these slashing penalties, and then the NHL is going to chicken out. The NHL is going to back off. They're going to say, well, yeah, we want to get rid of the slashing penalties, but, or the slashing in the game, but there's just way too many penalties. We're just going to stop worrying about it. They did that with the hooking and holding in the late 90s, early 2000s. They do a crackdown, and then by mid-season it was back to the Wild West. Ovechkin stating publicly what other players are thinking. This isn't just Ovechkin. They stated in here, what was it? They said there's been, in the first 19 preseason games around the league, there were 91 slashing penalties called. 91. It's the NHL saying we're cutting down on slashing. And they mentioned the injury to Mark Mathot. They mentioned Johnny Gaudreau, what he went through. It's more than that. This is about trying to open up the game without changing the size of the nets. And there's been people saying, oh, yeah, no, you can change the size of the nets because goalies are bigger, and you can make all the goalies' pads a lot smaller, and, if you want to open up the game, do this, this, and this, and this. Well, what if you just called the rule book and that opened the game up altogether? What if that's all it takes? So Ovechkin's the poster boy right now, and I'm wearing the colors that he's going to be sporting this year, and I hope he gets it. Because, again, I'm really pulling for Ovechkin and the Capitals to prove people wrong this year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Is Ovechkin, is this something that could take him out of the game? That's a question I'm asking because nobody saw Darian Hatcher and Kevin Hatcher, Mike Rathje, and other players exiting after that season was lost in a lockout. But that's what ended up happening. Certain players who couldn't play defensively anymore ended up out of the game. What does Ovechkin need to do? Is Ovechkin being singled out? Are they picking on him? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.